All right, ready to dive into something a little different today.
Let's hear it.
Luxembourg's AI scene.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, specifically, we've got this essay by Jörg-Owe
Okay.
about the LAI factory. They're like big hub for AI.
I've heard a little about that. Not a ton, but...
But here's the thing. Schneppat traces it back to, get this, the dairy industry.
What?
Yeah, Luxlake. It's been around since like the late 1800s.
Huh. So how'd they make that leap?
Right. From milk to microchips. What made them a tech hub?
Well, Schneppat talks about their location, right in the heart of Europe, good for business.
Makes sense.
But also, their government really supports innovation, so it's like a startup magnet.
Ah, yeah. They've got those incubators.
Exactly. Fit4, start the Luxembourg City Incubator.
They're like top ranked in Europe.
Yeah, they're really making a name for themselves.
So, okay, they've got that foundation, but
Yeah.
what about this LAI factory itself? What's it like?
It's not your typical office, that's for sure. Schneppat talks about the design, like really focused on collaboration,
Oh.
open spaces, central atrium, even a spiral staircase, all about connecting the teams.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they've really thought about employee well-being too. Game rooms, fitness centers.
Nice.
The whole building is even HQE certified.
HQE certified. Refresh my memory.
High quality environmental standard.
Right.
It's a French system. Basically, they built it with sustainability in mind, energy efficiency, all that.
So it's not just about the tech, but the whole environment.
Exactly. Shows they're committed to doing things responsibly.
I like that. But okay, let's talk AI. What about their supercomputer? Melissina AI, is that right?
Yep. And it's powerful. Over 2,100 of these GPU AI accelerators.
Okay, hold on. GPU AI what now?
Sorry, GPUs. They're graphics processing units. So originally for, video games and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But they're also really good at this parallel processing that AI needs. So they've got these special ones just for training and optimizing AI models.
So Melissina AI is using them to, do the heavy lifting for the AI.
Exactly. Schneppat says they invested $112 million in it. Got funding from Euro HPC, too.
Wow.
Yeah, they're serious about high-performance computing.
Okay, so we've got the space, the people, the computing power. But what are they actually doing with it all? Projects.
Schneppat says it's all about real-world impact. A big part is working with government ministries, developing AI solutions for public services.
So not just research in a vacuum. They're trying to make a difference in people's lives.
Exactly. They've even got these project calls inviting ministries to propose AI stuff for, like healthcare, education.
Wow, that's proactive.
Yeah, they're not waiting around.
So they're driving that exploration themselves.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is, and they're not just doing government projects, they're also working with startups.
You help them develop their own AI stuff.
Exactly, helping them scale up.
I see.
Like there's 4Point and Wide, they're working on some cool AI projects.
Okay, so they're supporting those new companies.
Yep.
That's important for any country trying to be an AI leader.
For sure. And they work with bigger companies too, like Green Power Storage Solutions, Webasto, bringing AI into existing industries.
So they're covering all the bases. Startups, big companies, even the government.
Yeah, really trying to integrate AI into Luxembourg's whole economy.
That makes sense.
And Schneppat really emphasizes education too. They've got programs for digital skills from preschool all the way up to professional levels.
Right.
Yeah, they get that everyone needs those AI skills in the future.
Not just the tech people.
Right. They're trying to make the whole society comfortable with AI.
So we've covered a lot. The hub, the startups, the education. But what's the overall impact?
That's where things get even more interesting. We'll dive into that in the next part. You know what really struck me about Schneppat's take on all this?
What's that?
It's not just about, pushing the limits of AI. It's how they think about the impact, on society, the planet.
So it's not just, hey, cool tech, let's build it. They're actually thinking about the consequences.
Yeah, the ethical side of things. Schneppat talks about how committed they are to making sure that AI is used for good.
That it doesn't make things worse, basically.
Right, with bias,
Yeah.
inequality, all that.
I get it, because it's easy to get caught up in the cool tech, but it's got to be used responsibly.
Exactly. And that goes along with their sustainability focus, too. Schneppat mentions how they want projects that are innovative, but also, help create a more sustainable future.
So it's not just their HQ being eco-friendly, it's the projects themselves.
Right. A big part of it is looking at the sustainable development goals.
Oh, right.
Schneppat says they're focusing on things like poverty, healthcare, protecting the environment.
using AI to tackle those big problems.
Exactly. But how do you make sure that actually happens?
That's what I was thinking. It's easy to say, but harder to do.
Right. So they're really big on technology transfer and knowledge sharing, especially with developing countries.
Ah, so not just keeping it all to themselves.
No way. They want to help others use AI for their own development.
That's really cool. Empowering other countries,
Yeah.
not just giving them tech.
Exactly. Training people, sharing the knowledge. And that ties into financial sustainability, too.
Right. Schneepat mentioned that.
Making sure projects can keep going even after the initial funding runs out.
Because if it's not sustainable, the impact fades away.
Exactly. They're looking for things that generate revenue, both short-term and long-term.
Smart. So it keeps having a positive effect.
Oh, yeah, like a ripple effect.
Okay, so they're really thinking about the bigger picture. Impact, sustainability, all that. But where does it all fit into Luxembourg's future plans? What's their vision for AI?
Well, Schneepat says the LAI factory is a big part of their national AI strategy.
Which is coming out when?
2025, I think he said. So they're really weaving AI into their whole agenda.
They're all in. And I bet they have some advantages. Attracting talent, investment.
For sure. Plus that supercomputer, Luxina AI.
Right, that gives them some serious computing power.
For sure. And they're thinking beyond just Luxembourg, too. They want to be a player in the European AI landscape.
Okay, but honestly, Luxembourg's tiny.
I know, right?
It's impressive, but can they really compete on that level?
It's a good question. Schneepat does talk about the startup scene growing, a lot of venture investment coming in.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
He mentions Circa Leon, Nextgate Tech. They're getting some attention.
So there's some buzz around their tech scene.
Yeah.
But what are their strengths, specifically in AI?
They're playing to what they're good at. Like, fintech is big because of their strong financial sector.
Makes sense.
And they're doing well in manufacturing tech and sustainable solutions, which fits with their whole responsible innovation thing.
So it's not just random, they're building on what they already have.
Exactly, and it's like that Luxlate thing we talked about.
Right. Adapting, finding new ways to thrive.
Yeah, it's part of their DNA.
I like that. But you know what they say? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. What are some challenges they might face as they grow?
That's a great point, and something we should definitely look at next.
Okay, so lots of ambition, but what could trip them up? I mean, every success story has its bumps in the road.
Right. Oh, definitely. And Schneepat's honest about that. Luxembourg has a lot going for it, but there are some hurdles, for sure.
Like what? What are they up against?
One thing he mentions is keeping these projects financially sustainable.
Yeah.
Like, getting that long-term funding is tough, especially with new technology, things changing all the time.
You need that upfront investment, but it's got to pay off eventually.
Exactly. And then talent.
Ah, yeah.
Finding and keeping the best AI people. It's a global competition, and Luxembourg's small.
You got to stand out somehow.
Big time. And Schneepat talks about access, too, making sure everyone benefits, especially in developing regions.
Right, that digital divide thing.
Yeah, knowledge sharing is great, but you need the infrastructure, the resources on the ground, too.
Could actually make it work.
For sure. It's complicated. And then there's the ethics part.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's a global issue, but as AI gets more powerful, Luxembourg's got to be extra careful. You know, making sure it's developed and used responsibly.
It's like more power, more responsibility.
Exactly. But even with all that, Schneepat seems optimistic about Luxembourg's AI future.
You think so?
I do. They've got a clear vision, strong leadership, and they're willing to adapt.
You know, their size might actually help them there.
How so?
They can move faster, be more collaborative. They don't have all that bureaucracy that slows things down.
Yeah, they can be more nimble, like a speedboat compared to a big ship.
Right. And that ties back to the Luxlate thing.
Exactly. Adaptability, not afraid to experiment.
So they're taking that same approach with AI. See what works. I like that.
And they're finding their own place globally, too.
Oh, yeah. What's their strategy?
They're not trying to be Silicon Valley. They're focusing on what they're good at. Fintech, sustainable solutions.
Makes sense.
And they're using their reputation, too. As a stable, neutral country.
Yeah.
It builds trust.
Ah, so they're a reliable partner. Smart.
And their ethical AI focus helps with that. They want AI that's aligned with human values.
That's a strong message.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Luxembourg's making its mark on the AI world.
It's kind of inspiring. A small country, but they're going for it.
Shows you don't have to be a tech giant to make a difference in AI.
So, big picture. What can we learn from Luxembourg?
I think the biggest takeaway is success in AI, it's not just about the tech itself.
Right.
It's the vision, the collaboration, wanting to make a positive impact, and Schneppat shows us how Luxembourg's doing that.
Well said. Big thanks to Jörg-Owe for that essay. It really gave us a lot to think about.
Definitely.
Listeners, what do you think? Could Luxembourg be a model for other countries? Let us know. And until next time, keep jiving deep.